So, is there any merit to President Trump's election challenges? If Joe Biden is the projected winner, why won't President Trump just concede already? This is Thursday's Child. I'm your host, Keisha Toni. I'm a former teacher, now constitutional lawyer, and a soldier for Jesus Christ. I'm here to break down the fundamentals of constitutional law so that you can be an informed and influential patriot. This week, we're going to look at the complicated legal challenges to the 2020 presidential election. At this point, Joe Biden is the projected winner of the election, but President Trump has filed suits in several states. Can any of these suits change the outcome? Let's explore. So now let's look at the top 4 laws that could apply in some of these cases. So number 1, the Equal Protection Clause of the United States Constitution. So it could violate the Equal Protection Clause if a state treats voters differently depending upon how they cast their votes. So, for example, voters that go in person to vote are subject to stricter rules than people who vote by mail. That could be an equal protection violation. Number 2, the Elections Clause of the United States Constitution. It states that the time, place, and manner of holding elections shall be decided in each state by the legislature of that state. So all that means is the state legislature has to change these laws. The governor or a court cannot change them. Number 3, various state constitutional elections laws. So especially those requiring poll watchers from both parties to be present during vote counting and establishing deadlines for accepting votes. Number 4, fraud. So most pertinent here is that allegations of fraud must be pled with particularity. So what that means is you have to have specific evidence that fraud happened. You can't just say so. So Donald Trump has filed cases all over the United States. But we're going to focus right now on the cases in Pennsylvania because one case in particular has promise. So remember that I said the election clause says that the state legislatures have authority to create rules for election. But it was the Pennsylvania Supreme Court, not the legislature, that extended time for receiving and counting mailed ballots by 3 days in the state. Now Trump argues that the court lacked the authority to change that rule. But this particular lawsuit is based squarely on the text of constitutional law, so it doesn't need evidence or trial. The case was already before the United States Supreme Court, which at the time was divided 4-4 on the issue. Now Justice Amy Coney Barrett is on the court. She can break that tie. Only a few days ago, Justice Alito ordered the state to segregate those ballots received after the election. All that is necessary now in this case is further briefing and a final decision. Note that the Supreme Court decided the outcome of the presidential election between Democrat Al Gore and Republican George W. Bush. The main issue in that case was similar to Trump's Pennsylvania case. That is, who has the authority to change state laws regarding voting deadlines? It took 36 days to resolve that conflict. Ultimately, the Supreme Court's decision meant that President Bush would win the 2000 election by a slim 537 votes. But Donald Trump's path to win is just not so simple. He needs more than a win in Pennsylvania. He needs to sweep his other lawsuits in several states. And the other cases are much taller hurdles. So now let's look at some of the other lawsuits that Donald Trump has filed in Michigan, Nevada, Arizona, Minnesota, and Georgia. So generally speaking, these lawsuits involve allegations of fraud and objections to particular votes and local rules and practices. He alleges the exclusion of Republican poll watchers, that states nullified legal votes and counted illegal votes. Now, for Donald Trump to prevail, he needs to be able to present convincing evidence that there was fraud and also prove that there were enough disputed votes in each state to make a difference in the outcome of the election. It is a daunting task because so far, Joe Biden has a sizable lead in several states. For example, Georgia, he's got a lead of about 14,000 votes. Arizona, 12,000 votes. Wisconsin, 20,000 votes. Pennsylvania, 45,000 votes. And Michigan, about 150,000 votes. That's a massive amount. Now, there was a county in Michigan that admitted that a software glitch changed 6,000 votes from Trump votes to Biden votes. Now, that software is being used in at least 40 counties in the state. So, if Donald Trump could prove that the same glitch happened in other counties, that might be enough to call that election into question, or at least those results in that state. Ultimately, if Donald Trump wants to win some of his cases, he's going to have to prove that there was a widespread voter fraud and that it impacted the general outcome of the election. It's not going to be easy. Now, the Constitution requires the electors to meet and vote on a certain day after a presidential election. In 2020, the meeting is on December 14th. That is when the electors will officially cast their vote for president. By then, many of these legal challenges will be resolved, and we will likely welcome Christmas with a definite decision on the winner of the election. Now, one final thought. Challenging election results with recounts or lawsuits is part of protecting our democracy and the integrity of the elections. We should want to ensure that elections are 100% in line with the legal standards of our free society. It ensures that America's fate is in the hands of the people and no one else. If it takes a little longer to get the results, well, it's worth it to be sure in the end. Now, once all remedies are exhausted and the cases are decided, America demands that the president we rightly elected is inaugurated on January 20th. In the meantime, stay informed and protect the Republic. Don't forget to follow my channel, Keisha Toni TV, on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. Thank you for watching Thursday's Child on Keisha Toni TV, and I will see you next time.